think we have many, many more stories to tell and many more scares in us to inflict upon everyone.
First of all, I'm curious, how much did you try to emulate the original Pretty Little Liars, and what were the new elements you tried to introduce in Original Sin?
I think we wanted to honor the original show, but not necessarily emulate it, which is why we tried to set ourselves apart and expand upon the universe a bit. And one of the ways we really wanted to differentiate ourselves was to make this a horror show, and specifically a slasher horror genre show. So we love from the original, obviously, the icon that is A, ever changing, the mystery of who A is. And for us, one of the big jumping off points was making a killer like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. So it was really, I think, for us about taking some of the things that we loved about the original show and being inspired by them to set ourselves apart and do something a little bit different.
There are so many interesting characters in this series. I'm curious, what were your goals as writers for fleshing out the characters individually as well as their relationships with one another?
I mean, you kind of zeroed right in on our goal when we, it's obviously it's an ensemble show with these 5 high school girls kind of becoming friends. And I think for us, we wanted, and that's obviously kind of like the bread and butter of the show. That's the franchise, is the friendship of these 5 girls. We did, though, want to make sure that each of them had their own storyline that they were driving, had their own issues that they were exploring, that we knew what they wanted, that we knew what their greatest fears were. We really wanted to dimensionalize all of the girls. And I think the other thing too is we decided early on that these girls would not be friends when this show started, that they would know each other but not necessarily be a tight-knit group of friends. And we wanted by the end of the season for that friendship to really have been earned and solidified. So I think that was kind of one of the big kind of animating ideas behind the writing and the breaking of the story was to give each girl her franchise, her own story. And then by the end, really think, wow, they became friends, they were forged together, they survived together, and have that feel satisfying emotionally.
Lindsay, you mentioned the horror elements of the show, and I'm wondering, as a writer, how do you go about not only establishing that air of mystery and suspense, but also maintaining that all the way through?
Gosh, Roberto and I are such horror fans that I think we were able to connect about our love of horror, what scares us, what are our favorite horror moments in movies and TV shows. And it was really exciting to sort of create a new horror villain and create new horror set pieces. We knew that we wanted to tie the horror to our characters very specifically. So as writers, I think it was important to us to know the girls, to know what might scare them, and to know what might be satisfying for them as characters. And an example of that is our character Noah, played amazingly by Maya Rafiko, is a track star. And so, of course, having someone who is a runner as a lead of your show, it lends itself in the horror genre to an epic chase. So those were sort of some of the setups and payoffs writer-wise throughout the show, creating characters and finding amazing horror moments for each of them. Apologies, Maya Rafiko, for butchering your beautiful
I'm sure she'll forgive you.
I hope so.
Now, what do both of you think that fans of the original series will be most excited about in Original Sin?
Well, listen, I hope that they are excited, and I hope that they're excited by the fact that we love and honor the original series. And we're not trying to replace it or redo it or fix it or anything like that. It's such a perfect, so entertaining, so watchable, so fun. So I hope people are excited by the fact that we're just trying to expand the PLL cinematic universe, and they're excited by the new kind of more horror movie take on this story and the villain, as Lindsay said, and things like that, and that then they're really excited about these amazing actresses at the heart of the show.
What can you tease about the show's future? Is there a plan for more seasons beyond this one?
Well, Roberto and I certainly have had conversations and have plans for more stories beyond the story in season 1. We can say that for sure. We think we have many, many more stories to tell and many more scares in us to inflict upon everyone.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for your time today. Congrats on the show, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.